First of all, and this came from the COVID-19 pandemic, medical device shortages during the COVID-19 public health emergency. And if you say the pandemic is winding down, we're really thankful. It turns out that something good is coming out of it. And there doesn't have to be COVID-19 to make this a good thing. It turns out that the FDA publishes a shortage list to provide transparency to the American public, particularly those who use or purchase medical devices. I found this interesting. The list fulfills a statutory obligation under Section 506J of the FD&C Act. And quietly, on March 7th of 2020, the CARES Act, Section 3121, amended the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act by adding Section 506J to the statute. That's all your legalese for the day. But here's the thing. It gave FDA the authority and the responsibility to help to prevent or mitigate future device shortages. If you remember the problems that we had with ventilators and masks and other types of PPE, this is intended to help remedy this. We'll see how this holds up over time, but it seems like a decent idea. And it says that during or in advance of a public health emergency, it requires FDA to keep track of the device shortages that are going on for particular device classes. And it requires FDA to establish and maintain a publicly available database of the devices that the FDA has determined to be in shortage, as well as notifying people about devices which have been discontinued. So if there's a silver lining coming out of what we experienced with all the device shortages in the last couple of years, we're now going to get an updated list of what is happening. And FDA hasn't stopped updating that list. The most recent updates are both from September as well as October, and most recently October 31st. Let's start with the ones that are not very surprising. Gloves and ventilators. There's still a relative shortage of these, or one that has the potential to persist. So in other words, if the pandemic were to really re-ramp up, we would still have a problem here. Less well known are these. General purpose reagents for in vitro diagnostic tests, including pipette tips. We saw pipette tips listed numerous times. That's current as of September. Microbial nucleic acid storage and stabilization devices. Absorbent applicators. Transport culture medium. Tubes, vials, systems, serum separators for blood collection. Relatively recently updated. Anticoagulant vacuum sample tubes. Really basic stuff here. Vascular access flush saline. Most recently, and these were the news items this week, FDA added breast biopsy grid plates, localization trays, surgical needle guides, specialty magnetic resonance coils, as well as tracheostomy tubes, whether they're cuffed or not cuffed. Along with this, FDA noted what one might do about this shortage, and this is where the advice ranges from helpful to sort of obvious. On tracheostomy tubes, the agency said that you can actually clean, sanitize, and reuse tracheostomy tubes 5 times for pediatric sizes and 10 times for adult sizes. They actually provide more guidance along with that to be able to do that in a safe manner. Relatively helpful information. On breast biopsy plates, unfortunately the recommendation was pretty much limited to postpone those surgeries and call the company to see when they can get you more plates. But in the aggregate, we think this is a pretty cool thing that FDA is trying now to keep tabs, and is by statute required to keep tabs on device shortages that could potentially be of interest to those in the industry. And for us who are providing healthcare, who are investing in or mentoring startups towards needs in the marketplace. While these are relatively short-term needs, it is worth knowing what kinds of devices are being tracked and what sorts of things are felt to be important and of note to the agency.